Hi friends, welcome back to our channel. Whoever you are, wherever you are, thank you so much for clicking on the video. Let's just get started. Today we're going to be learning the lesson called as crop production and management in the science, the first chapter. So this is a very interesting lesson, you guys. So let's just get into the lesson without any further ado. And let's just start with the story, okay, with Paheli and Bojo, okay. So Paheli and Bojo went on their uncle's house during their summer vacation, and their uncle is a farmer. And one day they saw some tools like kurfi, sickle, shovel, plow, and etc. in the field, and we'll be learning what these and all in what are these plow and kurfi, sickle, and in the further lesson. So you have learned that all living organisms require food, right? Of course, we live from food or water. So plants can make their food themselves. Yeah. Can you tell how green plants synthesize their own food? Animals, including humans, cannot make their own food. So where do animals get their food from? But first of all, why do we have to eat food? Have you ever got this idea, you guys? Of course, we are hungry. We have to eat food to get energy or something like that. So you already know that energy from the food is utilized by the organisms of carrying out the various body functions such as digestion, respiration, excretion, and we get food from the plants, animals, and or both. Some non-vegetarian or vegetarian people. So food has to, Paheli is saying food has to be produced on a large scale. True, you guys. So in order to provide the food for a large scale or large population, the regular production or proper management and distribution is very necessary. We have to take care of the storage and stuff like that. So now let's see what are the agricultural practices. So there is some fact. Let's see, till the 10,000 BCE, I mean before common era, people were nomadic. They go to place without stopping. Whatever they, in whichever place they go, whatever they find to eat, they'll eat that. So it's something like that. Changing place to place is called as nomadic. So they were wandering from groups to place in search of food and shelter. They ate raw fruits and vegetables and started hunting for animals for food. And then when they started hunting the animals for food, then they we learned how to cultivate the land and how to produce the rice, wheat, grains, and other crops. Thus that was the story of agriculture. So that was how agriculture was born. So when now let's see what are the agricultural practices. So when plants of the same kind are cultivated at one place on a large scale, it's called as a crop. Okay. So for example, like wheat means that plants grow in a field that of wheat, like only wheat. So you already know that different types of cereals, vegetables, fruits, and these can be classified in the basis of their season which they grow in. So India is a very vast country, right? Very okay. Sorry about that. Very okay. And then our climate is mostly like the humidity and rainfall. It's vary to one region to another. So accordingly, there is a rich variety of crop grown. The crop grows in different parts of the country. So despite the diversity of the country, despite the diversity of two both cropping patterns, this can be identified. So these are kharif crops and rabi crops. So they can be classified into two types. One is kharif crop. Let's see what is kharif crop. So the kharif what is wrong with me? Okay, so the kharif crops is the crops that which are sown in the rainy season and are called as kharif crops. So they generally they come in like September and June to September. So the examples of them are paddy, maize, soybean, groundnut, and cotton are some examples of kharif crops. This definitely will come in exam. So just learn the definition of it instead. You could go detail some later. Okay. So now let's see what are rabi crops. The crops which are grown in the winter season, like in the up to October and to the March, are called as rabi crops. The examples of rabi crops are wheat, gram, pea, mustard, and linseed. So besides these pulses and vegetables, they are grown in summer and in many places, not only in India, right? So now let's see what are the basic practices of crop production. So how we produce the crops, how we make the crop. Now Budu is asking why cannot be paddy grown in the winter season. Pehli is asking. Okay, she's telling the answer. She's very good. Yeah. So paddy requires a lot of water, therefore it is grown only in the rainy season. Okay, so she's telling that it's grown in the rainy season because it requires a lot of water to grow. Now let's see the basic practices of crop production. So cultivation of crops include the activities undertaken by the farmers over a period of time. So you may know these activities that are similar, that those are carried by the gardener or even by you when you own an oatmeal plants or ornamental plants. I just said an oatmeal plant. Okay, ornamental plant in your house. These activities are and tasks are referred to as agricultural practices. So the maintaining of crops, plants, or the ornamental plants. So now let's see. These are referred to agricultural practices now, which are listed below. So the steps of preparing the soil, putting sowing seeds, and harvesting, storage, and stuff like that. Now let's start from preparation of soil. We have to prepare the soil. They say to prep the soil, so we have to nicely make it what should I say, I mean, you should nicely tilt it, because I'll tell you that in later. So the preparation of soil, you have to sow seeds, and then you can add manure or fertilizer. So you may ask, what is manure and fertilizer? Manure is nothing but when you that's like a natural fertilizer, which is like cow dung or stuff like that. And fertilizers is definitely produced on a large scale in factories, and that is chemicals, that is fertilizers. And then irrigation is nothing but spraying water, sprinkling water, or putting water to the crops. And then protecting from weeds. Weeds are the unwanted plants that are in the crops, which equally take the sunlight, the water, everything, so that they have to take the weeds. And for that only they use the tool called as kurpi, and that is like old traditional method, and there are new methods, I'll tell you that later. And then the harvesting, when the plants are mature, we're going to take all the plants and then we have to store them. The last step is storage. Now let's see a bit detailed in the preparation of soil. So the preparation of soil is the first step before growing a crop. One of the most important tasks in agriculture is to turn the soil and loosen it. This allows the roots to penetrate deep into the soil. The roots, when the soil is pretty loose, the roots can go freely into the soil. If it's not, if it's very tight like that, the roots can freely go inside. So, and then this allows the roots to penetrate deep into the soil. The loose soil allows the roots to breathe easily even when they go deep into the soil. So why does loosening soil allow the roots to breathe easily? So the loosening soil helps the growth of earthworms and microbes inside the soil. These organisms are friends of the farmer, they say, right? Since the further they turn and loosen the soil, it adds humus to it. But why does the soil need to be turned and loosened, you may ask? Yeah, so you have learned in the previous classes that soil contains minerals, water, air, and some living organisms in addition to dead plants and animals. They get decomposed by this soil and the organisms that are in it. So in this way, there are various nutrients that are dead in the organisms, and these are released back into the soil, and these nutrients are again absorbed by the plants, which make the plants really healthy and grow faster. So since only a few centimeters of the top layer of the soil supports the plant growth, turning and loosening of the soil brings the nutrient-rich soil to the top so that plants can use the soil. So thus the turning and loosening of soil is very important for cultivation of crops. This process of turning and loosening the soil is called as tilling or plowing. Now the first we said, right, slowly we'll be covering everything. Okay, so it's called as tilling and plowing. The loosening of soil, loosening or turning of the soil is called as tilling and plowing. So this is done by a plow. Plows are usually made of wood or iron. And if the soil is very dry, it may need a watering before the plowing, because it gets easier, right? So the plow field may have big clumps of soil called as crumbs. It is necessary to break these crumbs for the leveling and the field, and it is really beneficial when we are sowing the seeds for the irrigation, the watering part. And the leveling of the soil is done with the help of a leveler, which is it's very upgraded right now. And then sometimes manure is added before soil tilling. This helps the proper mixing of manure with the soil. The soil is very moistened before sowing. So now let's see what are the agricultural implements. So the traditional methods and like seed drill and something like that, sowing seeds on its own. Farmers don't need to sow seeds, but some of them they do still do the old method, so we have to appreciate every single hard work of them. So now let's see this is the plow. This is called as the plow, and they just take these bullock carts and it will put a line and go, and then they will just sow the seeds inside, so and that's it. Yeah, so why are we still here? Okay. Oh, we're here, right? I was just like going up. What? Okay, so now let's see what is a plow, a bit detailed. So plow is being used since ancient times for tilling and adding the soil to the fertilizers and crops and removing the weeds and turning the soil. This made wood is drawn by the pairs of bulls or other animals, as we saw in the picture, like horses, camels, cows, buffaloes. So it contains a strong triangular iron strip called as a plowshare, and the main part of the plow is a long log of wood which is called as a plow shaft, and there is a one end of the shaft and the other end is attached to the beam which is which is placed at the bull's neck or the animal's neck. So one pair of bull, the man can easily operate the plow as shown right here, as you guys can see. And then so the wooden plowshare is increasingly be replaced by the plowshares now, like I think you guys can see. So this is how it has been, like this is the plow shaft, the plowshare, and this is the beam where the thing is attached to its head. And so long rod or wood of iron, a strong board and a bent plate of iron is fixed to one end, and it works like a blade and it's pulled by animals. So this is like the new version of it. So nowadays plowing, it's called as a cultivator. So nowadays plowing is done by a tractor driven cultivator, and it is used to cultivate and saves the labor time as shown in this pic. So this is how it's the cultivator driven by a tractor. So now let's see what is sowing of seeds, how important is sowing of seeds, how to see the good quality seed or the bad quality seed. So now let's see what are sowing. So sowing is a very important part of the crop production. Before sowing, the good quality and clean healthy seeds of a good variety are selected. Farmers prefer to use the high yield seeds. High yield means seeds which are they are from very nice brand or something like that. So now let's see selection of seeds. How can we select seeds? So one day Pahali is saying, one day I saw my mother put some gram seeds in a vessel and pour some water in them, and after a few minutes the seeds started to flow on the top. I wonder why the seeds flow on the water, she said. Okay, now we'll see. So this is like an activity look. We'll do that later in our videos. If you guys want it, comment down below. I'll surely do it. And then all the seeds will, if the seeds float on the water, would those be lighter or heavier? Which was sink, of course the lighter seeds float on the top, so they would be lighter. Damaged seeds, they are the damaged seeds. They become hollow and thus they are lighter and they flow on the water. So this is the good method of separating seeds. So healthy seeds are from the damaged ones. Before sowing, one of them is called, this is the important task for the farmers to check if the seed is healthy or it is damaged. So now let's see what is the traditional tool which is used for sowing seeds. So it's it's the shape of a funnel, and the seeds are filled into the funnel, passed through 2 or 3 pipes having the sharp ends. So the ends pierce into the soil and they place the seeds there. Now sorry about my voice, you guys, I'm not feeling really well. And so that is the big, I'll show that to you guys. Yes, I think you guys can see they're putting the seeds, they have a bag, they're putting the seeds and it slowly goes and serves, and the bullock cart, the animals will going like that. So I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. I'm not very good at explaining. So now let's see what is a seed drill. So nowadays the seed drill is not a traditional method, this is like a modern method of it. So it is used for sowing with the help of tractors. This sows the seed uniformly and equal distance and depth. So this is very useful. It ensures that the seed covered by the soil after sowing. It protects seeds from being eaten by the birds. So sowing seed use drill saves and it saves time and labor. Now Bojo is asking. So there was a nursery near my school. I found that little plant was kept in a small bag. So why are they kept like that? When we buy some plants, they would put in a plastic bag and we'll just get them at home and we'll plant it into the pot. So Pehli is saying seeds of a few plants such as paddy are first grown in a nursery. When they grow into seedlings, they are transplanted to the field manually. So some forest plants and flowering plants are also in the nursery. So the appropriate distance between the seeds is very necessary and to avoid the overcrowding of plants when they are sowing the seeds. Sufficient sunlight, water, nutrients from the soil at some few plants may have to be removed, right? So for the overcrowding, which are called as the weeds. Now let's see how to add manure and fertilizers. What is manure? What is fertilizers? We'll be seeing that now. So the substances which are added to the soil to form a healthy nutrients or the healthy growth of plants are called as manure and fertilizers. I saw a healthy crop. Pojo is saying, I saw a healthy crop growing in a farm. The neighbors in the farm, the plants were weak. Why do some plants grow better than others? So soil supplements mineral nutrients to the crop plants. These nutrients are essential for the growth of plants and they are in certain areas in certain crops. So farmer grows the crops after the same field. The field is never left uncultivated or fallow. Imagine what happens to the nutrients. Continuous cultivation of crops makes the soil poor in nutrients. Therefore, farmers have to add the manure to the fields to replenish the soil with nutrients. So this process is called as manuring. Improper or sufficient manuring results in weak plants. So manure is kind of an organic substance obtained from decomposition of plant or animal wastes like the cow dung. Farmers dump plant and animal waste in the pits at the open places and allow it to decompose. The decomposition is caused by some microorganisms. The decomposed matter is used as organic manure. You have already learned about vermicomposting in class 6 and even 7. So this is an activity. We'll go through that later. After this video, maybe. So better growth of plants in which class or the growth in fastest? The fertilizers, chemicals which are rich in particular nutrient. How are they different from manure fertilizers? They are produced in factories. Fertilizers are produced in factories. So some examples of fertilizers are urea, ammonium sulfate, and superphosphate, etc. So the use of fertilizers help the farmers to get a better yield or a faster growth of plants. So paddy and maize, but there are excessive use of fertilizers have also become a source of water pollution. They are in order to therefore, to maintain the fertility of the soil, we have to substitute the fertilizers with organic manure or leave the field uncultivated or fallow in between two crops. Now, the use of manure improves the texture as well as the water remaining capacity. It replenishes the soil with nutrients. Another method of replenishing the soil with nutrients is through the crop rotation method. This can be done by growing different crops alternatively. Earlier, farmers in the northern India used to grow legumes as fodder in one season and wheat in the next season. This helped in the replenishment of the nitrogen and farmers were being encouraged to adopt this practice. In these previous classes you have learned about rhizobium bacteria. So these are present in the nodules of the roots of the leguminous plants. They fix atmospheric nitrogen. So these are the differences between fertilizers and manure. Let's go through it once. So fertilizers are man-made and it's kind of an inorganic salt, and fertilizers are prepared in factories. Fertilizers does not provide any humus to the soil. Fertilizers are very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Manure is what am I talking? Okay, I'm literally not very in a good state, so please don't mind me. I'm not very good right now. So manure is a natural substance obtained by decomposition of the cattle dung and plant residues. The plant wastes. So manure can be prepared in the fields. Manure provides a lot of humus to the soil. Manure is relatively relatively less in the rich plant nutrients. It protects the crops from both frost and air currents. To maintain the moisture of the soil for the healthy crop growth, fields have to be watered regularly. The supply of water to crops at regular intervals are called as irrigation. The time and frequency of the irrigation varies from crop to crop, the soil to soil, and season to season. In summer, the frequency of water is higher. Why is it so? Could it be due to the increase of rate of the evaporation of the soil from the soil and the leaves? I'm very careful about using. I'm very careful. I want all the the leaves are dried up. Why? So source of irrigation. The water sources or water irrigations are well, tube wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams, and canals. As you guys can see, yeah. So the traditional method of irrigation. Now let's start of irrigation. So the water available in wells, lakes, canals, and lifted up by the methods in different regions for taking the fields. Cattle, humans, labor is used in the method so that these methods are cheaper but less efficient. The various traditional ways are moat pulley system and the chain pump. So they Tekli and Rahat, which are called as the leveler system. Pumps are commonly used for lifting water. Diesel, biogas, electricity, and solar energy is used to run these pumps. Now, modern methods of irrigation. Modern methods of irrigation helps us to use the water economically. The main methods of the use are as follows. Sprinkler system. The system is more useful on the uneven land where sufficient water is not available. The perpendicular pipes having the nozzles on the top are joined to the main pipeline at the regular intervals. When the water is allowed to flow through the main pipe under the pressure with the help of a pump, it escapes from the rotating nozzles and it is sprinkled on the crop as if it is raining. The sprinkler system is very useful for lawns, coffee plantation, and several other crops. Now let's see what is the drip irrigation, the drip system. So the drip system, in this system there are water falls by drop directly near the roots. So this is called as drip system. It is the best technique for water, fruit, plants, gardens, and trees. Water is not wasted at all. It is a boom of a region where availability of water is poor, and if the availability of water is poor, we use drip irrigation. So now let's see the weeds, the most interesting part for me. I really like the part of weeds. So protection of weeds. Bojo and Behli went to a nearby wheat field and saw there were some other plants in the field going along with the wheat plants. Bojo is asking, have these plants ever been planted purposely? Yeah, so his question is, have these plants planted purposely with the wheat? In a field, many other undesirable plants may grow naturally along with the crop. These undesirable plants are called as weeds. The removal of weeds is called as weeding. So weeding is a very unnecessary weeds competing with the crop plants for the water, nutrients, space, and light. Thus they affect the growth of the crop and for their purposes. Some of the weeds interfere with the harvesting and may be poisonous for the plants and animals and human beings, right? I mean the animals and human beings. Yeah, so farmers adopt many ways to remove the weeds and control their tilling before soil crops. Helps in uprooting and killing the weeds which may be dry up and get mixed up with the soil. It is the best time for the removal for the weeds before they produce the flowers and seeds. The manure removal includes physical removal by weeds or by uprooting them and cutting them close to the ground from time to time. This is done with the help of a kurfi. This is the kurfi, guys. It's kind of like this, and it's a sickle actually. So it is used to uproot weeds. Weeds are also controlled by certain chemicals called as weedicides. So this is called as weedicides. They have to take the precaution because that is not very healthy. And yeah, so the weedicides are diluted with water to an extent required and sprayed with fields with a sprayer. Bojo is asking, do weedicides have effect on the person handling on the weedicide sprayer? As already mentioned, the weedicides are sprayed during the vegetative growth of weeds before flowering and seed formation. Spraying of weedicides may affect the health of the farmers, so they have to cover their face with their mouth with a piece of cloth during spraying these chemicals. So the last part is the harvesting, and we are almost done, you guys. Let's go. So harvesting crops is a very important task of the cutting of the crop crop after it's mature is called as harvesting. In harvesting, crops are pulled out or cut close to the ground. Usually, it takes about 3 to 4 months for a cereal crop to mature. Harvesting in our country is either done manually or by a sickle or by even a machine called as harvester, which is the modern method. In the harvester crop, the grain seeds are need to be separated from the chaff. This process is called as threshing. This is carried out with the help of a machine called as a combine, which in fact is a harvester and well as a thresher. Okay, so after harvesting, sometimes stubs are left in the field which are burnt by the farmers. Pehli is for it. She knows that it causes pollution and it may catch fire and damage to the crops laying in the fields. So with farmers with small holdings of land do the separation of grain by the chaff called as winnowing, as you already have studied in the class 7. So yeah, the harvesting festivals, you could just leave that later. So yeah, now let's see the storage, the last one, you guys. So the storage of the storage of produce is an important task. They have harvested grains and they are to be kept for a longer time. They should be safe from moisture, insects, rats, and microorganisms like the small kind of foam things, which is not very good. And it freshly harvested grains or seeds are stored without drying. They may get spoiled or attacked by their organisms for making them unfit for the use of the germination. Hence, before storing the grains, they are properly dried in the sun to reduce the moisture in them. This prevents the attacks of insects, pests, bacteria, and fungi. Now, Pehli Singh, I saw my mother putting some dried neem leaves and an iron drum containing wheat. I wonder why. So, this is the storage. This is how the storage happens. Once in silos or metallic containers. So, farmers store grains in jute bags, metallic bins. However, large scale stored grains are done in silos or in granaries to protect them from pests like rats and other microorganisms. After completing this table, you must have. We'll do that in the textbook exercises. Comment down below if you guys want it. So you have learned about the consuming of fish is a major part of the diet. In the previous classes, you have learned about the food that we can obtain from plants. We have just seen the process of crop production involves with a number of steps like selection of sowing seeds and similarly animals rat to the home in the farms, and we have to be provided with proper food shelter, and that is the care. When this is done in a large scale is called as an animal husbandry. So fish is for good health. We can get cod liver from the fish, which is rich in D vitamins. So this is, and now we're pretty much done, you guys. You could just go through the summary in this once again, and then yeah, we have done 8 pages so soon. So thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I upload a video, and comment down below which lesson you want me to teach. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.